Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you just clicked on this because you're feeling that intense, crushing weight of the week, or maybe just the sheer exhaustion of trying to keep all the plates spinning, I really want you to just take a deep breath right now. You're absolutely in the right place. Today, we're stepping totally away from that endless rush to look at something profoundly grounding. We're going to explore a piece of timeless wisdom that literally acts as the ultimate antidote to the overwhelming stress of our daily hustle. Okay, let's dive into this. I want you to just honestly ask yourself for a second, are you suffering from the modern fever? Think about the actual pace of your life right now, that constant buzzing urgency, right? That feeling that you are literally always behind on your to-do list, sprinting between back-to-back meetings, and carrying around that low-level anxiety that just hums in the background of your mind all day long. We so often treat this as just a modern problem, kind of like an unavoidable side effect of trying to build a career in the 21st century. I mean, look at what we've just accepted as totally normal. The daily grind, burnout, endless deadlines, and a chronic mental exhaustion that, honestly, even a good weekend of sleep doesn't seem to fix. We kind of treat this like a badge of honor, but it's really not. It's a very tangible, shared fever. It's almost like an inflammation of our minds and our spirits. We're rushing so incredibly fast that we've totally lost our baseline of peace. But what if I told you that this exhaustion is actually a symptom of a super old disease, one that incredibly already has a cure? Centuries ago, there was already this deep understanding of this exact kind of spiritual and mental exhaustion. And more importantly, there was a profoundly comforting remedy offered for it. The opening line of the ancient text we're diving into today offers this beautiful, definitive cure. The perfect guru has dispelled the fever. Just let the absolute certainty of that sentence wash over you for a moment. It doesn't say the fever might go away or, you have to work 10 times harder to get rid of it. No, it says it has been dispelled. The remedy is literally already here. Section 1. Timeless Spiritual Guidance. Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, page 626. So these texts offer us a daily dose of divine command, basically a spiritual anchor that is perfectly designed for our roughest days. Just to ground us in the history real quick, the specific text we're looking at is the daily Hukamnama, designated for June 17th, 2026. It comes straight from page 626 of the sacred Sikh scripture, and it was composed by the 5th Mehl, Guru Arjan Dev Ji. And while yes, it was written in a completely different era, the wisdom recorded here completely transcends time. It was written by a spiritual master who understood human nature intimately, and it speaks directly, right to the core of our modern condition. Section 2. Eradicating the disease, finding the cure within. When we're totally stressed out about our careers, our first instinct is usually to try and change the external world, right? We tell ourselves, if I just finish this one massive project, or if I can just barely survive this week, then I'll finally be fine. But this wisdom teaches us that the actual cure is an internal shift. And this brilliantly illustrates how the concept of the disease identified by the ancient text, which is basically a spiritual disconnect and ego-driven restlessness, maps absolutely perfectly to what we call daily anxieties and burnout today. They're exactly the same thing. The ancient text recognizes that our baseline suffering really just comes from a deep inner turbulence, this total obsession with our own daily worries. So how do we actually fix it? Well, the text gives us this massive, powerful guarantee. The true guru himself has eradicated the disease. What this means is that the real cure comes from surrendering to a higher spiritual alignment. When we just align our intentions with truth and grace, all that messy clutter of our anxious, overworked minds is just gracefully removed. We don't have to fight the disease entirely on our own. We just have to connect to the divine source, and the really heavy lifting is done for us. The sacred verse actually lays out this beautiful step-by-step progression of how this healing process works. It's so cool. Just look at this flow. Step 1. The initial fever of our anxiety and stress is completely dispelled. Step 2. In that quiet space left behind, a divine melody begins to resound. Step 3. All comforts are just naturally bestowed upon us. And finally, step 4. We are filled with this genuine, lasting joy. It's an incredibly logical, step-by-step sequence of true spiritual restoration. Section 3. The unstruck melody, finding quiet in the chaos. I really want to slow down for a second here. Because if there is just one single concept from this explainer I want you to hold on to during your absolute busiest days, it's this incredibly poetic and profound idea right here. The text refers to the unstruck melody of the sound current. But what does that actually mean for us? Well, the unstruck melody is that profound, quiet, and continuous peace that exists entirely underneath the loud, overwhelming noise of your daily life. Think of a physical bell, right? It only makes a sound when it's physically struck by something. But this melody is unstruck. It doesn't require any external trigger at all. It is the serene, pure silence that emerges the exact moment your mental chatter finally stops. It's essentially a continuous sound current of inner peace. And honestly, the absolute most comforting part about this is realizing that this peace isn't something you have to manufacture or work for or earn. It is always playing in the background. Whether you're stuck in bumper-to-bumper traffic, dealing with a really difficult client, or facing down a super tight deadline, that unstruck melody is right there, just underneath it all, patiently waiting for you to tune in and listen. Section 4. Protection and True Comfort. You are safe here. Okay, let's shift our energy a bit to the second half of the text. Because once you tune into that inner peace, the Hukamnama provides some incredibly reassuring, concrete guarantees. The message actually shifts from just healing your internal state to offering ultimate protection as you navigate the crazy external world. You are safe here. The verse explicitly states, God gives to his saints. God saved Hargobind. Now, what's really interesting about this is the sudden inclusion of a historical name. Guru Hargobind Ji was the sixth Sikh Guru, and he faced very real, intense historical dangers and adversities. So by mentioning that God saved Hargobind, the text is taking this big, abstract spiritual comfort and grounding it in absolute, real-world reality. It proves that this divine protection isn't just some nice metaphor. It actually works in the real, challenging world we live in right now. And because of that ultimate protection, just look at the incredible comforts that are bestowed upon us. By meditating on the truth, really vibrating on that name, Harh, we experience deep, profound joy. The text straight up promises that those who seek this alignment obtain exactly what they ask for. And it all happens through receiving divine mercy. It's this total, complete shift from striving and burning yourself out to simply receiving and experiencing grace. Section 5. Finding your inner truth. Applying the wisdom today. So the big question, how do we take this profound spiritual framework and actually make it practical for you today? Because it's one thing to just understand this ancient text, but it's a whole other thing to actually use it to shield yourself in your demanding professional environment. Well, the Hukamnama closes with this incredibly powerful, definitive line, Servant Nanak speaks the truth. When you are completely surrounded by the frantic illusions of the modern workplace, where every single little thing feels like a life or death emergency, this line serves as your absolute anchor. It reminds you of what is actually real. The stress? That's temporary. But the divine peace and protection, those are the absolute undeniable truth. I really want to encourage you to actively put on this spiritual armor today. You don't have to retreat to some distant mountaintop to find peace. No way. You can carry this deep joy and protective truth right into your very next meeting. Take it right with you on your busy commute. When those emails start inevitably piling up again, just remember that the fever has already been dispelled. You are completely protected, and the cure is already right there inside you. I'll leave you with this final, thought-provoking question to carry with you. As you step back into your routine, amidst all the loud noise, the endless demands, and the hustle of your day, where will you choose to listen for the unstruck melody? Keep seeking out those quiet moments of truth. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I truly hope you carry this piece with you today.